And here we are again, settling in for the June sketchbook. This is where we left off in May. You'll know a color change when we jump into June. I'm still not able to grasp that 2017 is halfway through. So, let's get into it. Ended May with this sketch for Hellboy. Took 30 minutes, and then right into June. Had an artist friend enjoying some cherry blossoms, I believe they were. Did this figure study. She's standing with the tree. I wish I would have picked a different picture that showed her with that tree a little better, but can't go back now. Worked on her hand, kind of made it to the point where I didn't want to look at it anymore and called it. So the beginning of June, if you remember, was the start of Wonder Woman fever. This was my friend. She had just gotten out of Wonder Woman and she was blown away by how great that movie was. Worked a little bit better. You can see that the outline here should be darkened out. I just didn't want to take the time. You can see it with the small picture. Worked on her facial features and then really came in and worked on her hand a lot more for the bigger picture. Then we are on to this sweet Trans Am. I got the building look down up here, kind of the right proportions. Came down here. This is the second attempt and then the third attempt. Just got to kind of keep working at my cars. They're getting better slowly, but they still have a long ways to come, and that's one of the things I'm starting to focus on a little bit more. Alien Covenant was another thing. This Neomorph was one of my favorite designs of this new movie. Still haven't seen Aliens or Alien, but have watched the Prometheus and now Alien Covenant, and like this white alien Neomorph just blew me away. Then you come into this picturesque sitting with this bridge Makani Terror model. Didn't much like this little profile. Did a little bit better of a profile study of her facial. Really got the shading on this cheek down, and that's really what I was kind of focused on. I know that's a little kind of weird. Really worked on her ear well. I really liked how that came out. Then you have this Batman figure study from Sean Gordon Murphy's Batman that he'll be drawing for later this year. You have this cityscape in the background, him holding the cowl. I just love this picture. You have this chiseled jaw that Sean Gordon Murphy loves to do. He did it for LED in Tokyo Ghost, and this is just his style, so really dug it. You can see like the shoulder highlight and whatnot there. This is one of my better friends. Met her a couple years ago, but she had this cool picture. Had her shoulder exposed. Trying to do that figure. I like this small picture a lot better than this bigger one, but was working with proportions. Since I started June, I was also working with Cognitive Drawing by Jason Brubaker. You should definitely check that out. I am going to be doing it a couple times. This first month blew me away on how much I've picked up on the lines of the face and the different structures that you're checking out. Week into June, another picture by my friend. She had just got done working out. Snapped this picture. Really liked how this hand was turning out, so I blew it up and did it a little bit better over there. Really love how it turned out over there. And then you have the 9th, did this charger study. This is what I'm talking about. Just got to keep banging away at these car studies and making them look better. Like, this is the first car that I've done that I really just enjoy looking at. I've probably flipped it open on that page a bunch of times. This is the first attempt, just kind of throwing down lines, seeing where they fit and whatnot, so really digging it. This was probably one of my uglier drawings of the month. You can see from the preview picture, it's supposed to be like a female form with like fire funneling through her. Kind of tried to get the figure lines and whatnot done up correctly. Then it just wasn't having any, like, I banged away on it for 15 minutes and just wasn't having it. My hand wasn't working, something like that, so just gave up. Another artist friend just kind of giving this perspective. It's got this top-down look of her sitting in this chair. That's why I made note of the chair arms where she's sitting in. Kind of worked on her hand. Again, just wasn't working for me. I think my hand wasn't working for a few days there, but all in all, I like where it was going. This is an actress laying on the bed, but she's got her head up here and then her body pointed back. I'm trying to get different angles on the body, and this one seemed to work out reasonably well. Kind of got to get shading down a little bit better, but liked the work I'm putting into it. The cross hatching is working well, you know, little by little. And then we have Kong studies. Back when I saw Kong back in April, March, something like that, I got a lot of snapshots of Kong. I just really fell in love with the design on him and just kind of wanted to play in that sand pit a little bit more. If you've been following me this last month, I turned a few of these into Copic sketches. Definitely this one I really loved. The scenery and him just standing there like a badass. That's my Kong. So then you have a location study, kind of given this deteriorated feel. You can see I was trying to give this hallway feel. The lines, the basic structure of the room, kind of giving the look to the roof going back, some deterioration back here, these doors on the side, and then really kind of just pulled it together for the small one. Put all the chairs there, the deterioration on the wall, and like really love that back, that small picture. But I like that I have the rest just so I can focus on. Then you have my self-portrait of the month. I shared this on social media already because this is one of the first ones that I've drawn of myself that I can definitely appreciate. Was working on the facial structure for Cognitive around this time. Really took my time with the hand. Again, this took 20 minutes, so this is probably one of my quicker drawings, but one of the drawings that I feel like I'm actually getting some progress out of doing this and banging on these studies for this year, so gonna keep after it, and my self-portrait is one of those reasons. We have this car study. This first shot at trying to attempt the angle of the car was just a real fail. I really like how this one turned out with a cityscape behind it. I need to practice more cityscapes and get some work done with those, so just the way that turned out. Angle's not quite right, but it's a lot better than I figured it would be considering that first picture. If you saw the pitch or the sketch and ramble I did on my page, on my YouTube video, it's of this guy, Six String Samurai, this little portrait. Started off getting like the composition of the page him holding his guitar, his face a little bit more. Then started making this out. Realized I wanted to do the hand studies a little bit more, so kind of just sketched them out. And realized I'm getting a little bit quicker. You have the Eva unit from Neon Genesis Evangelion study. First attempt, just trying to get some basic structure. Second set, trying to get a little more of that structure nailed down, and then kind of going back and redoing this head, trying to get the real look of it. So 20 minutes and that one was done. I really like how it's holding the skull, but just kind of need to work on it some more and more. Going back to Makani Terror, a few pictures of her in this hoodie. First shot, then was kind of working with her hands, and then came back and just did this whole portrait study. She's gorgeous. She's easy to do studies of because she has a unique figure, because she has so much tattoos covering her body that like it kind of makes me focus on the actual lines of her body more so than just certain features. And she's gorgeous. So you have this composition, this hero standing with a flaming sword and this like ice lion. I really like how the pillars look in this one. Kind of tried getting his face and like realized my hand wasn't having any of it, so just kind of scrapped it for the most part. I really like how the cape turned out. So I mean, even though I don't like everything, there's still details I do enjoy of the actual picture. 21st, you have this picture that was shown. It's kind of bondage, but it's just rope play. But came across this one, and her hand is tied to her leg that's tied up. Started with this, kind of mapping out the different sections of the body. Came up here, did the foot and the hand together. Then came down here, kind of pushed it a little bit more out, and then kind of did just a quick study of it. 25 minutes, and that one was done. Really like how that hand and foot turned out up there, but more practice, more practice, more practice. Then you have the rat rod, tunnel vision, kind of fisheye picture, but it really shows off the engine pretty well. Has the supercharger off to the side. I don't think I've ever seen a blower motor put on a straight 6. So kind of just quick sketched it out here, kind of give a layout of the T-bucket so I could, like you can see the bucket going in up here. If you're not used to those hot rods, that kind of that little picture up top helps show it off a little bit better. And then a much more detailed version of this engine, the blower, and then it with the 6-cylinder. More car studies. Worked on this Firebird design. I like how this is. It just needs to be stretched out a little bit more. That's what I tried doing with this one. Stretched it out a little bit, and for the most part I enjoy it, but there's like problem things that obviously you can tell with them. For the next day, tried doing this little lion sculpture. Realized it's not going to be as easy as it was. Scrapped it, started over. I didn't crash the day, I just scratched that composition from my sketchbook, moved on to the next day, or moved on to the next picture for that day, which happened to be this figure study. This is Barbara Dunkelman. If you've seen the past few monthly sketchbooks, you've seen her a couple times. She was one that played Harley Quinn for Halloween, and like that was one of the first ones that I started nailing the facial proportions. I like this little quick sketch. I really like her helmet. I think I might draw it again at some point. Just this little cosplay. kind of did her face quick sketch style and like gave her like a cartoony feel, and then came down and worked on her mouth and the blood dripping from her mouth a little bit more. The next shot, you have this plane in the middle of the woods crashed with a ambulance that ran into it. I really like the design of it. Proportions are a little off, but I like this pop hood look of the ambulance, so I redrew that. This is actually a shot from downtown here in Algona. This one kind of gets a little wonky, but I like the details of it. This little drawing of it shows off much better, a whole lot better, much better, whatever. Then going forward, you have this figure study, this lady in this corset and like dancer pants, whatever. So you have this first one where it's just kind of getting the basic line shapes, whatever, going in and doing her face detailed, trying her face a little bit more detailed, and then coming back doing a bigger study, getting highlights of her hair and whatnot. And not quite enjoying it all, but enjoying little bits and pieces. 28, you have this shot from Machine Head's soundboard. It just has this sign that says "Distort Everything," and I love that, and loved the synchronicity of the picture, so I just kind of threw it together, kind of rushed bits and pieces here, but I kind of want a board system scenario in something, so I'm sure that'll be good for the sketchbook. Then going on to this little rat rod truck, drew this first. Kind of really hated the proportions, so kind of just took my time a little bit more with this one down here. I'm liking how the wheels turned out. It's really hard to get angles on those, so little by little, little by little. And then ending the month, you have this other friend taking this shot on the beach. Kind of overdid it with the cross-hatching and whatnot. Kind of got her figure proportions, came down here, did the shading. Her shading on her stomach was something I really wanted to get done, but then I came over here, started doing her portrait, and kind of got carried away with the shading. So, sneak peek of next month. This is the first one done. I really like how that turned out. We're going back to blue and red, so look forward to that. I will be showing off more of it next month as we get into these sketchbooks even further. Half the year is down, half the year to go, and keep getting better and better. So thanks for checking these out, and I hope your sketchbooks are going just as well. Thanks.